I can tell you things about you without ever having met you. No, I'm not a witch, and I'm not a mind reader. I'll tell you more about that later. If you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, as a partner, a child, a friend, a colleague, there is a profile that shows up again and again. Not because survivors are weak, not because they were naive, but because narcissists are extraordinarily skilled at identifying and exploiting very specific qualities in people, qualities that are in every other context genuinely beautiful. So today I want to walk you through what those qualities are, why they made you a target, and most importantly, what you need to do with them now. Because understanding this is not about blame. It is about power. And by the end of this video, I want you to feel that shift. Hi, my name is Michele Paradise. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber, please hit the notification button. I'm a trauma-informed therapist with 22 years experience, and I bring together my professional learnings coupled with my own lived experiences as a narcissistic abuse survivor to help you navigate the most important relationship in your life, which is the one with yourself. So let's get started. Let's start with the traits themselves. And I want you to notice as I go through these, whether you recognize yourself. The first is high empathy. Survivors of narcissistic abuse are almost universally highly empathic people. They feel deeply, they attune naturally to the emotional states of others. They can walk into a room and immediately sense the atmosphere. This is a gift, but in the context of a relationship with a narcissist, it becomes something else. Because a narcissist has an almost predatory sensitivity to empathy in others. They know, consciously or not, that an empathic person will work harder to understand them, will give more benefit of the doubt, will stay longer trying to fix what is broken. The second trait is loyalty. Survivors tend to be deeply loyal people. When they commit to a relationship, to a person, to a version of who that person could be, they hold on. They remember the good times. They make excuses. They believe in potential even when the evidence has long since stopped supporting it. Again, in healthy relationships, this is a profound quality. In a relationship with a narcissist, it becomes the mechanism of entrapment. The third is conflict avoidance. Most survivors I work with, and this was true for me, have a deep visceral discomfort around conflict, not just a preference for peace. I'm talking about a physiological response to disagreement that feels genuinely threatening. And this almost always traces back further than the narcissistic relationship itself. It usually begins in childhood, in an environment where conflict was unsafe, where keeping the peace was a survival strategy. The narcissist didn't create this, but they absolutely exploited it. And I can remember this very clearly with my father. My father was a big, tall, booming voice man, deep voice, and I was terrified. I wanted to shrink. I didn't want him to shout at my mother. I didn't want him to shout at me. I didn't want him to shout at my brother, even though my brother might have done something or I might have done something. It's just, I was so avoidant of conflict. And it doesn't go away until you start the healing journey. The fourth is a tendency to over-explain and over-justify. Survivors often feel a compulsive need to make themselves understood, to explain their feelings, their needs, their reasoning in exhaustive detail. This comes from a deep fear of being misunderstood or dismissed. And in a relationship with a narcissist where gaslighting is constant, your reality is perpetually being challenged. I remember as a child, my father would make fun of me, like, speak more quickly, get to the point. My brother would do it as well. So it was a very male thing for me. And I only realized this when I was, on my healing journey, which is I still am on, is that how much I over-explain things. I actually say to my clients, did that make sense? I know they're intelligent, but it's always coming back to me being understood. I've really stopped doing a lot of that now, but I can link that back to those moments in my life where I was not understood and I was minimized and devalued and sometimes discarded. So you find yourself spending enormous energy trying to get someone to simply acknowledge your experience, which they never fully will. And the fifth and this is the one I think is most important, is a deeply conditioned belief that love is something you earn, not something you simply deserve. It's very transactional. If I am better, if I perform better, if I work harder, they will love me. That's not love. That's a transaction. Now, I want to spend a moment on this last one because it is the root of everything. Most survivors did not arrive at their narcissistic relationship as blank slates. The research on attachment and early childhood development is very clear on this. The patterns we bring to adult relationships, how safe we feel, how worthy we believe we are, how much we tolerate are largely shaped in the first years of life. If you grew up in an environment where love was conditional, where approval had to be won, where your emotional needs were minimized, dismissed, or used against you, then you learned a very specific lesson that you have to work for love, that your worth is contingent on your behavior, your performance, your ability to manage other people's emotional states. That lesson made you the perfect target for a narcissist, not because you are broken, but because you arrived already fluent in the language of earning love. And narcissists speak that language exclusively. So here is where I want to get really practical with you, because naming these traits is only useful if we know what to do with them. The first takeaway is this: your empathy needs boundaries, not reduction. Empathy is beautiful. Don't reduce it. Just put some boundaries. I never want you to become less empathic. The world needs empathic people. We need more of them. But empathy without discernment, without boundaries, without the ability to assess whether someone is worthy of what you are offering is a vulnerability. Start asking not just how does this person feel, but how do I feel when I'm with this person? That is the question. How do I feel when I'm with this person? Consistently, over time, not just in a moment. That is the data that matters. The second takeaway is around loyalty. Begin to distinguish between loyalty to a person and loyalty to a potential. So see what is in front of you, not what you want them to be or hope that they will be. Narcissists sell potential extraordinarily well. Future faking. You know all about that, I'm sure. Promising you everything and never really giving you what they promised you to keep you on board. The person they showed you in the beginning, that was not a lie exactly. It was a lure. Real loyalty is built on consistent behavior over time, not on not on who someone could be if only you love them enough. The third is conflict avoidance. This one requires the most direct work because it is usually the most deeply rooted. If the idea of disagreeing with someone, setting a limit, or expressing a need that might inconvenience another person send your nervous system into threat response, that is the work. Not learning scripts or communication techniques, although those can help. The deeper work is making it safe inside your body to have a voice. That is somatic work. That is parts work. That is what actually shifts the pattern. The fourth is the over-explaining part. You do not owe anyone a detailed justification for your feelings or your needs. A sentence is enough. I'm not comfortable with this. That's all you have to say. No explanation. This does not work for me is another thing you can say. Or you can say, I need something different. The compulsion to over-explain is rooted in the fear that a simple statement will not be enough, that you will be dismissed or punished for having needs at all. Notice when you are doing it. That noticing alone begins to interrupt the pattern. Awareness is the first step to healing. You can't change what you can't see. And the fifth, the belief that love must be earned. This is the deepest and most important piece of healing, of all the healing work you will do. Because until this shifts, you will continue to be drawn to dynamics that require you to prove your worth. The antidote is not just affirmations or mindset work. It is the lived experience in therapy, in friendships, in community, of being loved without performance, of being seen without having to earn it. That experience repeated enough times is what rewires the belief at the level where it actually lives. So if you recognize yourself in any of this, I want you to hear something clearly. These traits did not make you weak. They made you human. They made you someone capable of deep love and profound loyalty and genuine connection. The problem was never you. The problem was that those qualities were offered to someone who was constitutionally unable to honor them. And there is the truth that I come back to again and again. What you learned, you can unlearn. The patterns that were shaped by your history are not your destiny. With the right support, the right tools, and the right understanding of what actually needs to change, you can build a relationship with yourself and with others that finally feels safe. This is what this work is about, and that is why I am here. If this resonated, please subscribe. I put out new content every week on narcissistic abuse, recovery, trauma healing, and reclaiming yourself after toxic relationships. And tell me in the comments, which of these traits did you recognize most in yourself? I read every single response, and your answers genuinely shape what I create next. I'll see you on the next one, and all that remains for me to say is, please stay safe. See you next time.